Hello, everyone, and a very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today in another exciting session of Ask Me Anything from Kautilya School of Public Policy. I am Priyanka Roy. I head the admissions here at Kautilya, and I have with me Mr. Prateek Kanwal. Prateek is the co-founder of Kautilya School of Public Policy, and today he is here for you to answer all your questions that you'd like to know about the Master in Public Policy program. Good evening, Prateek, and welcome to this exciting session.
Thanks, Priyanka.
Right. So just for your information, everyone, Prateek is the co-founder of Kautilya School of Public Policy, and he did his master's in public policy himself from the Harvard Kennedy School. He was awarded the prestigious World Bank Scholarship for his work in the areas of education reform and social innovation, and he's currently working with New Globe as the Director for Policy and Advocacy. In the last 12 years that he's worked with CRISIL, Teach for India, ARC and Educate Girls, and is also the founder of Citizens for Public Leadership. So who better than Prateek to tell you all about public policy here at Kautilya? Over to you, Prateek, with our little presentation that we'd like to show everybody and tell them what Kautilya is all about and what we are trying to do.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Prateek. Thank you for joining in on this Friday evening. If this was 2016 and, we were talking about careers in public policy, probably half of you would not even understand this topic or would have known or heard about this topic. I think this field has just emerged and grown in the last 3 to 4 years. And, having been someone who studied MPP, when I was applying for my master's in public policy, there was no school in India, first of all, way back in 2015. There were bits and pieces of programs, 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, 9 months, 1 year, diplomas, unrecognized degrees, but there was no full-fledged MPP degree 2-year program with capstone and with internships, etc. There was no pathway to a career in public policy. Most of them were minting money by doing haphazard programs, just cobbling together a 9-month, 12-month program. But there's no degree, right? I mean, people would still ask you, is there a master's degree you've done? And you would say, no, there's only a diploma in the field in which I'm sort of offering. So, when I was trying to search for information about public policy school, Harvard Kennedy came to my mind, and I applied, got through, fortunately, on a scholarship. But then, as happens, every success story is celebrated. A lot of the stories which are not successful, nobody talks about it, right? Every year, I used to get calls from at least 10 to 15 people while they were trying to apply for Kennedy, and 1 or 2 used to get in, and other 13 used to either go to a substandard school here and there by paying a lot of money, or used to change their field to an MBA, right? Why was this so? This was so because very few schools existed. Demand was more, right? For example, till today, there are 52 students at Kennedy School, out of a batch of 400, right? For 52 people, at least 4,000 to 5,000 people totally apply, from India. So that success ratio is less than 1% or 1 or 2%, right? Now, why is this so? This is so because let's look at where India is right now, right? And if you throw a stone in any direction today from your house, you will find a public policy problem, right? Try it. Throw a stone in one direction, you'll find garbage. Throw a stone in one direction, you'll find sanitation problems in slums. Throw a stone, you'll find a government school which is dilapidated. Throw a stone, you'll find a government hospital which is dilapidated. Throw a stone and the road will be broken. Throw a stone, buyers will be hanging, from the thing. Throw a stone and there'll be a problem of, water sewage flowing on the road, right? Why is this so? This is because while we have been able to shelter ourselves in our comfortable spaces in fancy places like South Bombay, Gurgaon, Delhi, where we've insulated ourselves and isolated ourselves from the problems of the world, we figured out that in our own area, let's figure out great things. So we have figured out private hospitals like Max, Medanta, Fortis, right? Those who fear pull, you can go to Safdarjung, AIMS, top institutes where you require political, patronage, and you'll get in, right? Schooling, let's go to DPS, let's go to, fancy schools like Podar. And, why? Because we feel, okay, if there's a problem, let's find a private solution. Okay. If there is, airline, trains are bad, let's figure out a plane, right, to go to low cost airlines come in, right? Health, the sanitation is bad, let's isolate our and make concrete jungles and colonies for ourselves, right? If it floods, let's take insurance against floods as well, right? Everything we've tried to isolate ourselves, right? But understand, we're a country of 1.4 billion people. Today, if you earn over a crore, you are in 1%. So 99% of the people are earning less than a crore, right? Let's bring it down. A crore is a lot of money, right? Let's bring it down to 10 lakh. Guess how many people actually earn more than 10 lakh in this country? 3%. So 97% people earn less than 10%. Let's say that, okay, tax filing is bad, right? 10% people earn around 10 lakh. That's still 90% of your population doesn't have access to, a quality of income which can insulate themselves from public policy problems, right? So look at the market size. Business is all about market size, right? I am not saying it. I am saying that you guys, everybody wants to do a degree 5 years, 6 years, 10 years back, MBA. The market size of MBA is very small because there are too many MBAs in the market now. Public policy market is 90% of the population. How many people are serving them? Very few. How many Kennedy alums have come back in the last 5 years? 8, 10, 12, 15 max who are working in this field, right? Look at the size of the problem, right? This is why, it propelled me to start Kautilya, right? Why? Because 90% of the people need at least 5 to 7 services which are not given to them, right? Look at the quantum, right? Where is the talent coming from? Right now, the talent is coming from, let's take some people from social work, MBA, right? Engineering. Anybody who by default didn't want to do other things can come into the development space, right? Or policy space. Well, you're in luck. That's changing now. Governments are modernizing. Governments are hiring people. Look at the entire G20 Secretariat, Invest India, Quality Council of India. Every department in every state department, central ministry has consultants from EY, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, McKinsey, right? State fellowships have started, right? This is why it is the best time to pursue a career in public policy. And how do you pursue a career in public policy? You pursue by doing a degree program in public policy, masters in public policy, right? Diplomas, short-term, 2-month, 3-month, 4-month program, 6 months, 1-year program are not as immersive as a degree program. And I'm going to take you through why a degree program is required, right? At Kennedy also I had the option of doing a 1-year program, right? But I think one year is too short a time for you to immerse, right? In a curriculum, build network, knowledge, and skills. These are the 3 important things you need to keep in mind: knowledge, network, and skills, right? You can't build knowledge, in-depth knowledge in 1 year. You can't build entire worth of 30 years of required network in 1 year, right? You can't get skills, right? And I'm going to talk about these 3 things as we move forward. Can we move forward, Priyanka? What is the MPP program, right? The Kautilya MPP program is on the lines of the Harvard Kennedy program, right? We've gotten expertise from, institutes such as Harvard, Stanford, World Bank, who people actually come and teach here. It's not just the expertise and on paper. People are coming and spending time, 3 months, 6 months to actually ensure that this program has all the credentials to be a world-class program. It's a 2-year residential program. Our first batch just graduated last Sunday. All of them have gotten jobs, right? Good jobs ranging from anywhere between 9 to 15 lakh. Curriculum balances global best practices with India focus, which is very important. We're not saying we're teaching you things which don't matter. We're saying we're picking up the best of the Western practice, immersing it in the Indian, culture and Indian sort of way of doing things. So it is not that, okay, you'll be taught something which is not usable in India, right? We talk about data analytics, we talk about ESG, we talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning. We talk about the future of public policy. We're not talking about those same Soviet era things like only teaching math, economics. 5 years back, if you ask anybody what is public policy, they'll say economics padho. They'll say finance padh lo. They're like math padh lo, statistics padh lo. No. Modern day public policy is all about how do you manage space programs? How do you manage ESG? How do you manage driverless cars? How do you manage, artificial intelligence, machine learning? How do you manage technology in the hands of the user? How do you regulate that, right? These are modern day challenges, and they can't be taught by Soviet era schools, right? They need to be taught by 21st century world-class schools which understand these problems. Now, climate change can't be taught by learning pure mathematics or economics. I am saying math and economics are also important. But what I'm trying to tell you is the application of this is to solve climate change. Climate finance, right, for example, is a very emerging field. So these are the new age concepts which we talk about. And each of these concepts at Kautilya is taught by a sector expert. It's not taught by an academician who's not gone outside and not done any work for the last 30 years of their life, right? We believe practitioners who are in the top of the game right now, who will actually work with you after your 2 years should teach you. Next, mentorship with experts I've already talked about. We believe that you will be paired with a mentor. So example, if you want to work in climate change, you'll have a climate change mentor. If you want to work in education, I was the mentor I am an educationist. I had 3 people who are now working in top flight education industry companies, right? The mentor's job is to actually tell you what is required to get a good job, what is required to build a career in that field, what is the kind of networks they'll give you access to. We feel that finishing school is what master's degree is all about. It's not about just giving you rote learning concepts, clearing few papers, and writing thesis, and then not having any job at the end of the day. We believe that every person, if they want to build a career, should be mentored and should be only dealing with experts for the 2 years. That's the Kautilya philosophy. Focus on experiential learning. The focus is entirely on, for example, Ambassador Syed Akbaruddin, who's your dean, actually does mock United Nations, tells you how negotiations are done at international level, right? These are, things which you routinely won't get in a school like in any other school. We have a media center, which is as good as any media news channel studio you will ever see. So you can do your podcasting, you can actually learn how to interview people, how to give interviews, how to do public speaking, how to actually ensure you can actually make your own content through your own news channel. These are all the things. I'm not cooking this up. Go to our YouTube channel, go to the student run clubs, see what they've been up to, and you will see a big difference. Our aim is to make you industry ready. A career is made not by learning through books and theories, but is what is the application. And we are the ones who deal in application of public policy. Can we move forward?
Right. So how about a little bit about how the program is structured before we delve a little bit more into, the area of careers that students desperately want to know about?
It's a short and nippy, 3-month run. We're not looking at semester system. We're looking at trimester system. This is why I talk about professional degrees. You learn a lot about it in a very short span of time. 30-hour courses will be your full-time courses. Skill shops are a 10-hour long, which are 10 skill shops, 6 terms of 3 months each, 28 minimum courses, right? 103 credits, industry internship. You can do actually 2 internships. I've seen students do 2, 1 government, 1 industry. There's a capstone project, which is your thesis. The idea here is to ensure that you can get the best of working out there in the field, as well as getting the best of learning in the classroom. There are group projects. It's a residential program, so everybody is in the beautiful 5-star hostel facility which we have. The idea is that all of you work together throughout the 2 years, build great cohort, interbonding cohort relationships. Faculty come and stay on the campus, visiting faculty come and stay on the campus, guests come and stay on the campus. So it becomes a great place for you to network, with your peers and with all the external guests which come along. Can we move forward?
The most important question of the hour.
Question of the hour. Why should you do an MPP? What gets you to do an MPP? You can work with the private sector. Most of the companies have a flourishing public policy division. Do yourself a favor. If you're serious in careers in public policy, do a small test. After this session, go on LinkedIn and search for public policy jobs and see the number of jobs which come in. Study how many jobs are coming in which sector. There are government fellowships, there are think tanks, there are non-profits, there are tech firms, there are law firms, there are private companies like Reliance, Tata, we can go on and on. IPAC in political consultings, then you have Nation for Namo, you have, Nehru fellowships, which are doing cutting edge work in campaign management. You have research in academia. One of our students is now moving on to study at Yale, and she's doing public health after MPP to focus on public policy in health. So these are the jobs, and you can go to our social media and our website and see all the jobs data which has come in. All our first graduating batch is out there now working. You can talk to them, learn more about their experience and where they're getting jobs. The jobs are anywhere between 9 to 15 lakh. Lower end of the spectrum for people who are freshers, higher end, as much as you want on the higher end for people who are with experience. The idea is that we have a full-fledged career development cell, which works at each individual and customizes to their each individual sort of area of interest and tries to match them with a mentor, internship, and then a capstone, and then with a job. Next, please. Again, very important question, which Priyanka, most of you who know, leads our admissions. Your job is to go out there, complete the online application, ensure that you write well. A lot of the times, you are good at giving interviews, but you write very bad essays. You don't proofread them. You don't write them well. You write anything thinking that you'll get in. No, you'll not get in. There's no entrance test. The focus is on essays. Focus is on the quality of recommendations you get in, right? Focus is on, how do you explain what you're doing in your job, etc. to us, right? So it's a combination of application review and interview. But ensure, do not write shitty essays. Please write well. Please spend time proofreading them. Ask your friends to proofread. Spend hours and hours, at least 15 drafts you should write before you submit. I wrote 15 for my college application. So take this application very seriously. If you are applying for scholarship, which we'll talk next, we offer robust scholarship. 40% of our revenue every year goes in scholarships. These are means and merit scholarship. So you have to qualify both on merit and means. What this means is you need to be an excellent in your work experience. Even if you don't have it, your college, clubs, etc., what you've done, leadership experience, as well as you need to show us that you need this scholarship because you don't have that kind of means to pay for it, right? Scholarships are only offered for tuition fee waivers. It's on first come, first serve basis. You have to fill an additional application if you want to apply. As essay is there. Please ensure you write that essay well and tell us why you need the scholarship. So, and apply as soon as possible because scholarships get over as you delay your application. So I would say get in touch with Priyanka right after this call. She'll help you think through how to apply. She'll give you all the guidelines. She'll be with you, hand-holding you through the process. So she's your point of contact if you want to get into Kautilya.
Absolutely. Next. So Prateek, of course, we're moving on to the question and answer session where we're opening up the floor to everybody. But before we move on to all the candidates' question, one thing that comes up to me a lot of times is that I have done a BTech or I've done a BA and I don't really know what public policy is all about. So can I find a place here at Kautilya for me? So can you tell our students and our attendees a little bit more about that?
So Priyanka, good part about public policy is it's background agnostic, right? You don't need to be any, from a specific field, right? You are English honors, BTech, BA history honors, BCom honors, architect, law. Public policy is, in all sectors, right? You can be a space scientist and work on space policy. You can be an architect and working on the architecture or the smart city policy of the country. You can be an engineer and work on the policy of space and climate change and industries. You could be an accountant. You could be working on the budgeting and the financial policies of this country. The possibilities are endless. You can be a lawyer. You could work on the constitutional law and the policies related to the law. Right now, the biggest debate in the country is the LGBTQ rights, right? How you can sort of help them implement it for the companies, for the thing. So the idea is that the field is not restrictive. If you have an interest and you have a problem which you like solving for, and your heart beats for that. For example, I loved education, right? I was a BCom honor student, right?
Right.
BCom honors majors in finance and accountancy, right?
And then public policy.
I did education for 6 years, right? And then public policy, and I continue to do education because I feel education is my passion area, right? So if you have a passion area, regardless of what degree, what experience, these 2 years is what is going to define you, right? The 44 students who have just graduated, if you met them on day one and if you meet them on the day of graduation, there's a sea change on who they are and what they want to do. And that's the rigor we provide at Kautilya.
Right. So like you said, throw a stone and there are problems all around. So whichever one you pick, I think public policy is always going to be the answer. I'm opening up the floor for question and answers. If anybody would like to ask your questions, you can raise your hand and I would welcome you here. Or else you could drop your questions in the chat box as well. I already do have a couple of questions, Prateek. The first one saying, what sort of experience would you recommend before venturing into public policy? Because there are ample problems out there, but from a career perspective, how do you really get a satisfaction from it? Or, what should I be doing first before I get into public policy and then take it on?
I think very good question. I think what you need is penchant for data. What you need is, have a problem which has affected you or somebody who for which you've always thought that you have the solution. You need to be great with, communication skills or wanting to learn communication skills, oral and written, because public policy is all about trying to convince somebody to do something which they've not done, right? So excellent communication skills, build it in 2 years if you don't have it, right? Data, understanding of data and how data works in practical sense, right? Learning all about R, Strata, Python, highest order of Excel skills, right? These are important, right? If you don't know, 2 years is the time to learn, right? Then knowing what excites you, right? Education, health, right? Climate change, solving for the labor crisis in India, right? Solving for, technological interface challenges and privacy laws in India. So you got to know your area of interest, right? Before coming in. These are sort of the 3 areas I would put in.
Right. I think that gives a lot of perspective with so much changing around us, whether it's technology, whether it's AI today. There is so much scope that people have where they can actually come around and implement policies. But Sanjay asked us a very interesting question and he says that what is the satisfaction that you get from, working towards such policies, when the harsh reality is that most good policies are either not properly implemented or not implemented at all. So how can we make that change by doing the MPP?
I think, by doing the MPP program, what you will get is, don't think that overnight you will change a policy, first of all, right? A career in public policy is a career in public policy, not a job in public policy, right? What we are trying to set you up for saying is that we know the harsh reality. We know that you're, hitting yourself against the wall. But if you think that in your lifetime, in 30 years, by the time you become CEO, MD of a company, right, that you have the wherewithal to solve for that problem and the network, knowledge and skills. These are 3 important things. Network in that field, knowledge in that field, and skills in the field to maneuver the system. I feel that no matter how the harsh reality is, look at the things which have changed. It's not that things haven't changed. It takes time, painful time to change. You have to build commitment. You have to build an ecosystem. You have to build, your relations and network. And then you should be able to attack at the problem. right? It's not that the problem cannot be solved or implemented. It's just that sometimes you don't have the skills, sometimes you don't have the knowledge, sometimes you don't have the network, right? All three have to combine, and you need to be patient, right? In field of public policy, don't expect that, overnight we're going to eradicate poverty in this country. Overnight, we're going to sort of be a world leader. It can't be. Can we quicken the pace? Can we, smoothen the ride? Yes. And that's what your job as public policy professionals, right? Anybody who does public policy is a public policy professional. So it's a professional field, by the way. Just like a CA, just like an engineer, just like a doctor, public policy professionals who do MPP are policy professionals. And if professionals don't have patience, then they aren't professionals, right? You got to ride the storm. You got to ride the waves to ensure that when you reach smooth oceans, you have all the capabilities to create change.
I think that makes so much sense. And that is not something that you can do in 6 months or a year. I mean, your education needs to be as sustainable for you to take forward that step and make those changes as well. Now, Harishwar is one of our very excited candidates who has also been exploring the option of MPP, and he comes with a couple of questions for you, Prateek. The first thing that he asked is, until recently, he was an MBA aspirant. So now he's switching and he's interested in MPP. So he wants to know whether it is preferable for him to do the MPP program. Does it have an overlap with MBA in any form?
I mean, I'll just answer one by one. The average packages will be around for an, is it audited? I don't know. I mean, why do we need to audit? All the jobs are up there on the website. We see, first of all, Harishwar, if you're coming to Kautilya, you're coming for trust. We are not some shady fly-by-night operators. Let me be very clear, right? And be authoritative on that, right? We are setting the benchmark for public policy education. I don't believe in something being audited. Either you trust us, you talk to the students, or verify it yourself. We are not somebody who's going to, write those things like MBA schools do, 99% audited by PwC. We're not in that game, right? We believe that we enable you so much in your life that you will get the job of your choice, right? Let me answer your, what is that question? What kind of roles were offered? People have worked with Paytm, IPAC, right? Quality Council of India, EY, Think Through Consulting. People have worked with, what else comes to my mind quickly? Yes, RBI, Reserve Bank of India. What else comes to my mind?
Ather, Niti Aayog.
Niti Aayog, all of these. And you can go, and there's a detailed list on our careers page on the website where all the roles with the people who've gotten it. And you can call them and check with them, what is their package? What are they doing? Do they even have that job? So I think if you are a discerning student who cares about your own life, you can do the auditing yourself, right? Let the onus be on you to audit, because we have nothing to hide here, right? Is there an overlap with MBA, HR, or sustainability management? No. This is a dedicated 2 years full-time public policy masters on the lines of Harvard Kennedy School. You can go check out how the rigor of the Kennedy School works, how our rigor works, and you'll see common ground there. Until recently, I was an MBA aspirant. How will this program be suitable? See, there's no aspirant. I mean, if you aspire to solve public policy problems, you're a TFI. No, you're a Bank of America you're working with. See, if you feel that your skill sets and the market size of the problem which you're looking to solve for connect with, I don't see a difference between an MBA and an MPP. Both are problem solvers, right? MBA solves for business problems. MPP solves for social, political, economic problems, right? So the domains are different, but the job is the same. It's both. How do you become a professional in the field, right? And career paths, I have done an MPP. I have, similar, probably more package than an MBA because I'm a specialist in my field, right? Are humanities students preferred? There is no preference. It's a 50-50 split right now. 50% engineers, 50% the other streams. So I don't see a preference coming in. But write your essays well, then you can get in. Can you tell me what kind of roles were offered for the first batch? I've already talked about it. Experience as a fraud analyst, it's in operation. Experience always adds value. Why? Because you've already been in the industry. You've worked with people. You know how the culture of an organization works. You won't be a fish fresh out of water. And that definitely will add weight to your placements. And placements are most likely dependent on the network you create, right? And the opportunity you seek in the domain which you like, right? So placement is not like, any company which comes in, you'll take the bus and go. After 2 years at Kautilya, we want you to be a specialist in domain and get a job in that domain, right? I have to spend some time on essays. I need more time, right? Application queries, I leave to Priyanka. Get in touch with her. She'll figure out a way to get your application. But Harishwar, if you're applying, be serious, right? Be serious. Do your own research. Go on every possible social media and avenue which we have. Read everything. Read who's on our board. Build your trust, right? Don't go in for these audited, etc. There are plenty of fly-by-night operator policy schools which I don't want to name. They need auditing. We don't. Our batch has just graduated. Everybody's landed a good job. You can talk to them, verify everything, and then come to us. Right? Hope I've been able to answer the question. Can we become a diplomat with this program? No, that's a no. IFS officers are only the diplomats in this country. So you have to write a civil services exam. Yes, will this course help you in writing civil service exam? Definitely. Because public policy is what actually they do. So learning about it and then applying actually makes sense.
Right. There's one that says, can I be a policy generalist, or is it necessary to be a specialist in a specific domain?
You can be a policy generalist if you're not been able to figure out in 2 years, if you need more time. But first year is when the general policy program happens. Second year is the specialization. You can still choose to be cross-cutting across specialization and not, go into one domain. But we highly encourage, and most of the time we see that spending time with mentors, doing internships, capstones, spending time with industry leaders, you do tend to figure out your at least 1 or 2 areas, Sanjay, which you want to work in. Jalaj Gupta is asking, when is the application closing? We are almost in the final phase. I think in a month's time, we will be closing down the batch. Get in touch with Priyanka ASAP. Jalaj, if you're interested, limited seats, limited scholarships, just get onto the board as soon as possible, I would say. Suyash has a question, law and working in the field of political. I have developed interest in education. Great. I have realized meta problems, but the thing career perspective cannot zero down the field of interest. I want to explore more. I think 2 years, Suyash, is a good time for you to actually narrow down, right? A great thing is that you already worked in the field. You've seen what happens. You've seen the problems firsthand. Now is the time you actually talk to experts. We have about 75 to 80 experts coming in from outside, who are industry leaders, CEOs, MDs of multilaterals, like climate, UN climate change, World Bank chief economists, who are at the campus. Talk to them, learn from them, build your networks, and you'll be able to figure out what to do. General colleges publish audit reports, right? So I asked, Harishwar, we are not general college. I'm telling you, we are competing with the Ivy Leagues here. So don't expect all these audit reports. I hope I'm not being harsh to you. I'm just telling you that there's a different way of doing things. We don't want to be categorized in run-of-the-mill college. I'm not going to talk about any MPP. How is it different from TIS, Hyderabad, Xavier's? That's up to you, Karan, to decide. We have an offering. We believe it's a great offering. We have a student batch which is graduated, another batch which is in the mix. They're getting all the jobs and internships. It's for you to decide what area do we specialize in. It's you to decide what kind of faculty we have, infrastructure we have, what kind of networks we give you access to, what kind of environment we do give over 2 years, and then come and decide. It's not about whose MPP is better. It's about what is better for you. Graduate and post NLU, but I want to explore more. Resources will help me indicate refined sense of policy. Suresh, I think what we give is mentorship and networking, right? What we allow for people with experience and with, coming in with a lot of prior knowledge is that we give them the skill set and we give them the experience and the networks. I think what, Suresh, you need is networks, right? You go on and search what kind of people we bring to the campus, what kind of academic minds and industry minds are there on campus every day. Talk to a few of our students and see what kind of access they got, right? I met some of the students that day and they said, sir, the thing is our mentors have connected us to 2 or 3 people. We're still deciding what type of job will fit us, right? So don't worry about us. We already have 2-3 CEOs lined up talking to us. We have to just go and get them. We have to chase them and figure out. It's the effort is on our side. So, the mentorship program is the best part, right? Working with a mentor who's in your domain is the best part, because that person connects you with 5-7 people instantly because of the fact that they're in that field, right? How do you search for internship in policy space? LinkedIn, Karan. That's the best place. Go and type public policy jobs and you'll get something. Hisham, are most jobs in field of public policy in the government sector or opportunities available in private sector? I would say 80% are in private sector and 20% are in the field of government. So it's an 80-20 split. I would, Hisham, urge you to go and on LinkedIn and search for public policy jobs, and you will see a drop down of how many jobs are there. Again, I'm not going to talk about any other school with Kautilya. You should choose based on your area of interest, the expertise we provide, the environment we provide, the infrastructure we provide, the recognized degree which we provide, a 2-year program, capstone. Compare everything and then decide what is good for you, right? Skills and competencies required to get into public policy: data, strong communication skills, domain-specific knowledge, ability to problem solve, care for the problems which exist around you, deeply passionate about changing the country and building a better country. These are some of the things which you should have. Can you mention what are the interdisciplinary discipline exploration with the course other than domains? You could be a law and a social sector expert, wherein you could do a law. And so, in social issues, right, you could be, an expert in economics and look at, social sector economics, right? So you can do interdisciplinary work with domains. You can be, in finance and look at climate finance and sort of marry the two. So there are a lot of opportunities and you could be, coming in with a business perspective, look at ESG. Right. You could be coming in with the technology experience and look at artificial intelligence and machine learning as a cross-disciplinary subject. So there are a lot of options, Ranjit. I would say, it depends on, what domain expertise you bring in and what is your area of interest and how you can marry the two. Right. Do you plan to start a PhD program? Yes, very soon you will hear about it in a couple of weeks' time. We will be having a very robust state-of-the-art PhD program as well. I see most of the teacher industry veterans. Are there any permanent teachers? Yes, there are 4 permanent teachers already. You'll be getting 2 more by the time you join, the next batch joins in. So there are about 6 permanent faculty for a batch size of roughly around 60 people. So 1:10 is the ratio, and about 75 to 80 industry experts are there. Rushil, MPP from Prateek. Okay, this fall, whenever I talk about public policy circles, they say the consulting is the only job you get after this. I'm not in consulting. So I think there are a lot of jobs. You can work with the government at NITI Aayog, at Quality Council of India, Invest India, quasi-government bodies. You can work in think tanks. You can work in, political campaign management field. You can work in tech policy space with your Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. in the tech policy departments. You could work in private sector. For one of our students, I forgot to tell you, got into the vaccine manufacturer. Who's the other vaccine manufacturer?
Bharat Biotech.
Is working in their public policy division of Bharat Biotech. So I would say the possibilities are endless. I don't know why people in your professional circles are pushing into consulting. I think consulting, it's a fad because of the fact that people think it pays really well. But I think if you open up and look at any other job, it pays equally or in some case more as well. So don't restrict yourself, pushing. BBA finance, how can it be a good discipline? I just told you, finance, you can marry it with climate finance. Finance, you can actually look at budgeting of government. You can look at, non-profit finance, raising money for them. You can look at incubators in the public policy space. So I would say finance is a good. I came with finance background, and I always feel that it helps me take decisions in the field in which I'm working in. So I think finance is a general skill which can be married with any domain expertise outside. I was offered a scholarship. I applied for elevation of scholarship, elevation, and also it doesn't happen. It's based on your, merit and means, and it's a competitive thing. We don't revalue our decision once the scholarship is given. You should be happy that you have a scholarship. A lot of people I know don't even have the scholarship. it's by the end, it's your life. You decide. I would say, if you want to take loans are available. The university arranges loan. Priyanka can give you more options, but I don't think there is a reconsideration. We don't do any reconsideration. What I was saying was that there is a 1:1 return once you graduate. The job you get actually pays for the thing in 1 year, right? So I think it's a great return on investment. By the end, I think you got to pay for a great education, Suyash. I think Indians are too used to freebie culture, and I think nothing comes free. I had to fight tooth and nail to get the scholarship, and I was the only one in Asia to get that scholarship, right? So, but that's why we have scholarship at Kautilya. Otherwise, iPhone doesn't give you 50% discount, right? It's just that we care for people from every background, and the founder himself got scholarship. So he believes that everybody should have access to excellent education. Hence, we have scholarship in the first place, right? But don't take it as your entitlement or your right that you should be getting scholarship because you feel you should be getting it, right? Taught in 2 years, how much theory, practical work. Minal, everything is there on our website. If you don't find it, please contact Priyanka and she'll give you the entire coursework and subject work taught in 2 years. Is law important and big part of public policy? Growingly, yes, Harishwar. If you understand law a little bit on the side, it doesn't hurt because of the fact that, everywhere you go, there'll be law. Right, there'll be some with the law. For example, non-profits have this law of this foreign remittances, right? Tech policies every day fighting on law, right? On privacy law, etc. Then there's social laws, right? Like LGBTQ, etc. Education has so many laws. RTE, Right to Education Act, is a big law. New education policies implementation. So I think you got to understand how to read it. I'm not saying, I know it's boring, right? But Harishwar, understanding law in 2 years, little bit on the side, can only add to your, ability to get things done outside, right? Ability of business enterprise to anticipate changes in, major determinant success. Absolutely agree. What we are today, 5 years from now, or rather 2 years from the time the students graduate, the policy architecture can be different, right? So ability to be knowing what is going to change, how is it going to affect you. For example, in you may laugh, but in 5 years time, we'll be talking about space cars, right? We'll be talking about how Mars colonies are there, right? We'll be talking about driverless cars in India. We'll be talking about robots governing us and helping us in our household chores, right? If you don't know how these things are going to be governed, you cannot operate at pace, right? You cannot be talking about how a thermal power plant is made when the world is moving into electrical, solar, lithium driven sources, right? So I think, Mr. Modi, if you're not able to understand and see where the world is growing and keep pace with it, you're going to forever be making policy for 1960s and 2030s. And that's what most policy schools in India do, right? They teach you, the same old books, these big books, folded pages, right? Some theorems, right, which are not applicable anymore and will be increasingly not applicable in the future. Part-time PhD program, no, we'll be doing full-time PhD programs. There's nothing part-time. You got to invest time and get. A lot of people have told us do 1-year degree programs. There's nothing known as 1-year master's degree. Master's degree in a great college is 2 years. Check out. Degree is valid for higher education abroad. One of our students, Dhiren, is just left for Yale. She's gone after MPP and is now doing MPH, Masters in Public Health at the Yale School of Public Health. So yes, it is very well valid at any college abroad. It's a degree granted by the UGC. One personal question, sir. I've been studious child throughout. Okay. Graduated. Okay. One sem blue moon incident happening. Okay. You can apply provided by the time you come to Kautilya, you clear your exams, right? Or get a provisional degree, right? So if you are able to get a provisional degree by then, or if we are not here to penalize you on one blemish, right? If your overall track record has been good, we look at the overall track record. You just need to submit a degree by the time you come in August, September. How to contact?
Last question, my favorite.
Last question is Priyanka. You can give them your details. I can also leave my details here. My best way to reach out is through Twitter and through LinkedIn. You can find me on Prateek Kanwal on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I can engage with you further there.
Right. And I'm dropping in my contact details as well. For your information, my number is 91008 50851. I'll repeat that for you. It's 91008 50851. You
You
can
can also
find my
leave it
number on
there.
the website as well. Yeah.
And Hisham, your question, what sort of jobs are offered in private sectors after completing MPP? We've just put in our jobs data on our website and on social media. You can go and check out, Hisham.
All right. So that's the email ID and the number dropped in the chat box as well, so that everyone can reach out. We'd be looking forward to hearing from everyone. Any last questions? Anybody with anything else that they would like to add? We'd be more than happy.
So yes, you're getting an MPP degree. We've just granted them on Sunday. And there's no exam for MPP. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This was great. I look forward to having you, during your interview phase, and hopefully if you can get through and get in, that'll be great. See you. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Prateek, for your time. This was a wonderful session. Thanks, everyone, for joining in.